Well, guess what? It's time for another edition of Celebrity Pick 6, but this is supersized edition because we have not one, not two, we have three celebrities with us. Pat, Tom, and Cody from KNCI 105.1 Country Station of the Year. Pat, Tom, and Cody, how are you?
Good.
Great.
You really use that term celebrity in a loose fashion, don't you?
Well, I mentioned Pat and Cody. I'm going to leave Tom out.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Yeah,
I would too.
He's used to it.
Well, Pat, I'm going to start with you because before we get to our picks, did you play any football at all? This is all football related. So, Pat, do you have any football in your background?
You know, I was pretty big on backyard football. I was never picked last, sometimes close to last, but never last. And I played 1 year of junior varsity football. I was the third string wide receiver, and I got to play the entire last game because one guy was sick, another guy got hurt. I knew none of the plays. Right? I just stopped learning them about halfway through because I wasn't playing. Fortunately, my best friend Joe Carter was the quarterback, so he'd call the play, and then I'd stick around an extra 5 seconds. He'd tell me what to do. So it was fun. We sucked.
But you have football in your background. How about a team, Pat? Do you have any NFL team that you have just been a fan of your life?
Well, I mean, growing up mostly in Cincinnati, I followed the Bengals, which is really hard to do most years. But the good news is they're usually eliminated from the playoffs by about this time, which they are again this year. So I can just kind of sit back, relax, and not be pressured to root for any particular team. Also follow the Niners, and this has been a tough year for them.
Yeah. Tom, you're next. How about football? What's the football background in your life? Backyard, collegiately? You were in the
playground,
NFL, weren't you?
Recess. I had a cup of coffee with the Buccaneers back in 82. I played in 8th grade and 9th grade. In 8th grade, I went the entire season without a drawstring for the girdle that you used to wear inside because I was too afraid of our coach to ask for a drawstring. So it always felt like my pants were falling off. And then in 9th grade, I was a cornerback. And there was one game. This was the moment where I decided football wasn't for me. This other team had this gigantic guy. I'll never forget his name. It was Joe Obert, and he was about 6'9" and about 400 pounds, and he was a tight end. And they had a little pass out to him on the flat, and I was the guy, and I was the only guy between him and the goal line, and he caught it at about the 30-yard line. And I'm barely exaggerating. I latched onto his leg at about the 25-yard line, and I basically rode him in like a little squirrel monkey. I'm just hanging on, like going back and forth. I wasn't having any effect on his stride at all, and it wasn't until he got in the end zone that he kind of lost his balance and came down, and his whole ass came down on my face mask, and it was just like this. And all I saw was these two cheeks coming in, and it broke my face mask and cut my face open. I got a big scratch along my face. He may have beef stewed me. I think I blacked out right after that. But it was that day when I decided, you know what? I'm going to give basketball a try. And you know how that went. I probably should have stuck with football.
I wonder how Joe Obert tells that story.
Right.
I killed a guy. That's it.
Yes. Well, and for you, Tom, who I know who your team is, but who's the team, and why are you so fond of that team?
Seahawks, since their inception in 1976. My dad and brother and all of my friends and everything, we were Seahawk fans from day one. You know, that was, other than the Sonics, you know, that was the next professional sports team that we had in the Seattle area. And, you know, those first teams had charismatic people like Jim Zorn and Steve Largent, and Chuck Knox was the coach for, I forget who the first coach was. Jack Patera. But anyway, it was just, it was one of those galvanizing kind of moments as a kid where they came on the scene and became a fan. And I've been a fan ever since.
All right, Cody, how about for you, your football background? Do you have a Joe Obert story where you grabbed onto a guy's leg for 25
She dated
yards?
She dated him for a while.
I probably dated him for about, 2 months. No, I was a cheerleader ever since I was a little girl, elementary school, middle school, and then I was a varsity cheerleader for football my junior and senior year of high school. I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan because I'm from Philadelphia. I'm here right now. And I'll be honest with you, I like football. I like going to sporting events. I like, the crowds. I like beer, hot dogs, but I don't really keep up with the sport that much, especially this year with the Eagles. I gave up about 4 games ago. So I'm just here for fun.
Well, and I think if we prioritize that, would you put beer first before the game?
Yes. Okay, let me rephrase. That's the the energy, and then, maybe hot dogs and food, everything. Yeah.
There you go. Well, this is why it might be perfect for the three of you. We're going for Celebrity Pick 6. This is what's happened. It's all for fun. It's for bragging rights. We give you 6 games. Nobody has gone 6-0. Nobody has gone 5-1. Our benchmark, our top score is 4-2. So we're going to have show competition, but also competition with everybody throughout the year as well. So you guys ready?
Yeah.
Who went 4-2?
Oh, the list is, I think, G-Man, Gary Gerald, Greg Vaughn, Jonah Herskew, King's assistant last week. Maybe Lisa.
A real
Gonzalez.
celebrity.
But you guys are going to go 5-1 or 6-0 and set the new trend.
What's up?
Okay.
All right, so here we go. First game in our Celebrity Pick 6 for this week. Patriots against the Rams. All we need is a winner. Pat will lead with you. Who wins, Patriots or Rams?
I'm hoping the Patriots win, but I'm going to go with the Rams. Because if the Rams were to lose, that would be good for the Niners. Who still have a little shot, maybe, but I'm going to go with the Rams.
All right, Tom, you're next, and they're tied with your Seahawks. So who do you got, Patriots or Rams?
I'm going to go. I kind of agree with Pat. I think I got to go with the Rams as much as I'd like to see them lose, but I think they've probably been embarrassed enough this season, and they're probably getting focused.
Okay, Cody, do we have a sweep on Rams or?
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Rams, and I promise you I actually have my picks written down, so I'm not just going to say. I did a little bit of research, so I think I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
I like that. You sold us that I'm not really watching football, and you've done research. This is perfect. This is perfect.
I don't want to completely embarrass myself today.
All right, next up, Tom, you'll lead us off on game 2. It's the Cardinals against the Giants. Cardinals-Giants. Who do you have, Tom?
Well, after the Giants embarrassed the Seahawks last Sunday, I am going to go with the Giants. I'm going to hope it's the Giants because then that'll make me feel a little less bad about that terrible loss on Sunday. So Giants.
All right, Cody, we're going into your division with the Eagles for this Giants game, but what do you think, Cardinals and Giants?
I'm going with the Giants.
Okay, 2 for the Giants. Pat, you close this game out.
But I want to hear Cody's research on.
Yeah.
Why did you pick?
No. I asked my brother. No, I'm just kidding. I did not. I literally
Daniel
just
Jones, man.
I went on the division rankings and on Google.
Good.
Like, who's still better? Yeah.
Google's a good source. This is a really tough one for me because the Cardinals, they started the season, they looked so good, and then lately they've just looked like a team of dysfunction, and the Giants have been getting better. I like the Giants' defense, and I like Cody's research, so I'm going to go with Giants.
All right, so far we have the show sweep on the Rams, we have the show sweep on the Giants. Cody, you lead us off for the Colts and the Las Vegas Raiders. Big game for both teams.
Okay, so I feel like I should go with what I originally wrote. All of a sudden, I'm going for a change up.
Uh-oh.
I'm actually, no. I'm going to go with the Colts.
All right, lock it in. Final answer.
Lock it in. And don't ask me why. I'm just going off the intuition at this point.
That works. All right, Pat, how about you, Colts or Raiders?
Who are the Raiders? When they played Kansas City and then beat them and then played them again and almost beat them, I thought, wow, this is the one team that can hang with the Chiefs and may challenge them for the Super Bowl. And then lately they've looked awful. Even though they beat the Jets, they ought to be embarrassed by their performance. I'm going to go with, can I go with the Giants? No?
Colts or Raiders?
And I don't know. A lot of people like Phillip Rivers. I've never quite gotten the Phillip Rivers experience, but I'm going to go ahead and give him the nod and give the game to the Colts.
Okay. Tom, you close us out on this game. Colts or Raiders?
I think the Raiders are going to realize how lucky they were to get that win last week. It's going to help them focus a little bit, and they got to win. They're going to have a chance to make the playoffs, and I think that's going to be enough momentum. I think the good Raiders team is going to show up this Sunday.
Okay, our first difference in picks. I like it. All right, next up, game 4. Pat, you lead us off. The Washington football team, who just gave Pittsburgh their first loss, against the 49ers.
Boy, I want to go with the 49ers because I'm a big fan, but Washington looks really good. They've got a good defense. I like Chase Young quite a bit, being an Ohio State guy. And not only that, Alex Smith is going to play against his team. I mean, what a great story he is. And he's playing against a team that basically told him, no, you're not good enough to start anymore. So I think he's motivated. I'll give it to Washington.
Okay. Tom, you're next. Washington or the 49ers?
And believe it or not, even though I'm a Seahawk fan, I pull for the Niners. I used to love that rivalry we had for a few years, and I hope it comes back around again and gets that intense again. But I don't see them winning this game. I'm going to go with.
Okay. Cody, Washington or the 49ers?
Just to be different, I'm going to go with the 49ers. Just represent,
There you go. Cody's playing the local angle. That's always the smart one.
Maybe, just maybe, they're going to pull through.
Yes. All right, Tom, you lead us off with the Steelers against the Bills. This is a good game. Who do you have, Steelers?
Ooh, that's a great game. Boy. But just out of deference to our mutual friend, Nick Moron, I'm going to have to go with Steelers. Steelers 10-0 this week. Steelers going to win it. I think it's going to be a really close game, and I think the Steelers will probably come out on top, but that's a toss-up. I don't know.
All right. Cody, Steelers or Bills?
I'm going to go with the Steelers, Pennsylvania team. So.
Wait, how many games have the Steelers won so far? Are they 9-0 or 10-0?
No, they lost last night.
Yeah. But so they were 11-0, now 11-1.
They were 11-1.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'll stay with my answer.
Okay. After careful deliberation, Tom is going to stick with Steelers. Pat, how about you, Steelers or Bills?
Boy, I think from just an eyeball test and an emotional test, I'm going to go with the Bills. The Bills looked really good last night. And the other thing is, when you grow up a Bengals fan, you don't like the Steelers. Everybody who's a football fan has got the teams they root for and the teams that they want to see lose. And every weekend, I want to see the Steelers lose and I want to see the Browns lose. But they're both having great years. At the same time, I really like the Bills. They look great, so I'm going to pick the Bills.
All right, well, that's going to lead into our last game as far as the team that Pat's rooting against. That's the Ravens and the Browns. Cody, you lead us off on the final game, Ravens or Browns?
I have the Browns.
Okay.
Sorry, Pat.
And by the way, Cody's representing the Eagles today. We haven't seen the Eagles fly. Look at that.
There you go.
It's a gift from my mom.
Pat, well, you kind of gave us a lean on who you're rooting against, but are you going to pick the Browns or the Ravens?
I got to say, Cody, the statement, I have a Browns, sounds like a medical condition. So I'm going to go with, the Ravens are so bad, too. I hate to say it, but I think the Browns get the win.
Ooh.
Surprise there. All right, and then Tom, last pick of the Celebrity Pick 6. Oh, you already phoning a friend?
I'm talking to Joe Obert right now, and yes, I am alive. No, I survived that. I did. Yeah, I came to about 10 minutes later. Browns. He says take the Browns, so I am going to go with the other team.
The Ravens.
I forget who you said. Ravens.
Yeah. I think when he was telling you the Browns, that was what was left on the face from after.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Pat, I had the Browns. Yes.
Okay, so just to confirm, Tom, you were taking the Ravens.
I'll go with the Ravens.
Okay, well, this is cool. You guys all have different picks. You guys have show competition. You have competition against everyone else. Thank you for participating. Best of luck, and keep on keeping on.
Jason, do you pick these games?
I'm 0-6 every week.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, I wait for the games to finish, and then I pick. It's a lot easier.
Wait, Jason, what about you? And what was your football experience? Did you play in high school?
It was awful. I think in my mind, I ran into Joe Obert as well. I had a decision to make one time. I was like third string too. I never got to play football. There's a play where the only win we had all season, and there's me and my good friend Marty. We're two running backs. We're tiny. I was like 5'2", 120 pounds as a freshman. And there was a designed sweep to the right, but I was the lead blocker for Marty.
And you were 5'2", 120? Is that what you said?
And Marty was probably 5'3", 120. Like, we were tiny. And my decision as the lead blocker was to block the defensive end or linebacker, whoever came on the side. Well, they didn't tell me that guy would be ginormous. It was Joe Obert. And so I made what was equivalent to a business decision, and I just kind of got into the line and just kind of pushed a few of the guys that were already being blocked. And by the time I turned around, all I see is Marty's cleats up in the air. And that was the end of Marty.
Self-preservation. It's a good thing.
Hey, I'm fine. I'm fine. Now, Marty.
Marty would have had a radio career too, but he's dead.
Yes.
Instead, we've got a radio thought for Marty.
Yes, exactly. And also, the other position I had, I was on special teams. I don't even know what it's called. On kickoff, I was facing the kickoff team and had my arms up and like started I was like the starter. What is this, a drag race? I don't know.
So you were the last guy down the field.
Oh, the last guy. I didn't get hit.
Okay, this is good for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody.
Well, let's dedicate these picks to Marty then.
This is all to Marty.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Marty.
Yes. All right. Thank you, guys. Good luck.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thanks, Jason. See you.
Bye.